So weekly update number 12, and yeah, we're going to have, as always, we're going to have a look at our emails, and we're going to go through questions that Jane's had, that I've had, things that have been highlighted. We normally highlight about 10 or 15 during the week, and things that it's worth knowing, just keeping abreast of as well. So yeah, let's get started. We're going to go through our YouTube channel as well, and just do a few, maybe answer a few questions that we can get a chance to answer on there. So if you have got any questions for the weekly update, please bring them across. You can send them to chris@upsticks.es, or you can just ask them on any of our videos on YouTube, and I'll try and get to it on these weekly updates if I can. So this one here from Jane, this is a client, said perhaps this is a point you can raise in your weekly update, and it's regarding buying a second property to live in and one to rent out. Is this covered in the NLV? Absolutely, as long as it's passive income. So you cannot work at all in Spain. So anything which would be, some people would question, how would you get caught? Well, you wouldn't risk it, would you? But if you've got an asset, a property, and someone is managing that asset for you, and that generates an income, you own that, it generates an income, that's fine, because you're not doing anything, you're getting an income, and you'll be declaring that income as a passive income in your declaración de la renta, your tax returns, which the period actually starts very soon. But if you're working, managing that property, this could be considered self-employment. At that point, this doesn't fall under the non-lucrative visa. So absolutely, you can own a second property as long as the rent, that's your intention, that is derived from that property, whether it be holiday rent and it's managed by a company who just pays you a payment for managing it for you, or a long-term rent, then that's fine. Then the question comes up, well, hang on a minute, if it's a holiday let, what about if people are paying into, I've had this before, into my account, and I'm then paying the company? Look, what you need to do is speak to your accountant, get a good accountant. Every area is slightly different, has slightly different rules, and just make sure that whenever you do your tax return here in Spain, the income is considered as passive income rather than it being in a structure where you would have to be considered as self-employed. That's where I'm going to answer that. We have answered it before, but that's the best way to answer that. So where are we? We're going to roll up to our next email. And another one here from Jane. Just to remind people, do not travel once your visa has expired. Now, can you register an expired visa? Believe it or not, you can, as long as you haven't traveled. I did release a video this week about the problems with getting an appointment in Spain to register your non-lucrative visa or any sort of residency which has a resolution, a positive resolution from the government or a visa. We need registering here in Spain, and that is called a toma de huella appointment, and there's some big problems actually getting those appointments now at the moment. This means that some people are actually entering Spain with an entry stamp before the visa expires, booking an appointment. They're not getting it for 3 months' time, and their visa expires, but they've got an entry stamp before the visa expires. That's not a problem. What you can't do is have that entry stamp, book your appointment for after the visa's expired, leave the country after the visa's expired, and have an entry stamp after the visa's expired. Very, very important. Wasn't a circumstance which has happened before, but is certainly happening now with these appointments. So do not leave the country if your non-lucrative visa has expired and you are waiting for a toma de huella appointment. Right then, what's next? And next we've got a big congratulations to the Clark family, who I know watch the channel, been on a long journey with them to get their NLV, and they've picked up their cards, and we are super happy that they've got their cards and over the moon. So yeah, well done guys, it's been great, and soon we'll have the renewals with you. That sounds terrible, doesn't it? Soon, well, in a year's time. So that's good. What else have we got here now? Ooh. We were looking at, oh yeah, check this out. Now, what is this? What is UTEX? You're going to see more about UTEX. Now, UTEX is the Unidad de Tramitación de Expedientes de Extranjería. Now, UTEX basically has been formed last year to help. I'm sorry if you can hear my cat in the background. It's a bit loopy now, very old. UTEX is an organisation formed by the government to support the subdelegations of the government who are completely inundated with applications for residency. And they are taking charge of areas, especially like Almeria, trying to take some of the applications off their plate and doing that job for them. I can't understand why they don't just amplify the staff in the provisional headquarters rather than having to farm this out. Is this a move to having a unified way of actually, not a provincial, but a unified national way of approving these files which are sent in? Things like the NLV renewals, for example, they go to the subdelegation of the government. People who are EU family members, they go to the subdelegation of the government. So you'll find in the future that the approvals may not be actually coming from the place that you're applying to. They will be coming from a place called UTEX, which is the Unidad de Tramitación de Expedientes de Extranjería. Let's see. But that's it's definitely something to keep an eye on if they're shifting the movement of the handling of the files to them. This was a note from Granada. Yeah, so I wanted to show you this because I thought, well, you got to celebrate the small wins as well. This is David, one of our clients, dropped us this review on. So the folks at Upsticks were amazing. They literally took care of everything for our family. Tom met us at the police station in Malaga with all the required paperwork. They had it translated and knew the paperwork was necessary, and it wasn't. Jane sent the appointment emails, well laid out detail of what we needed to bring. Overall, it was absolutely fantastic. I 100% recommend them. We will certainly be using them for our renewal. Thank you so much. That was great. Lovely to get some nice feedback there from our clients on Google. And another one that we got in, actually, and I wanted to mention this one because in my 2023 renewals update, which I actually haven't done a 2024 one yet, I mentioned about, we can never guarantee that you can use foreign documents because they will need translating, and sometimes they do question the origin of those documents. Well, a year on, I can tell you what, we're not doing too bad. We're doing well. Now, we've just had a file through from a renewal approved from Malaga. And this is actually the first time that we have used a digital smart currency statement and the translation of said statement. Now, there was some of the money was sat in a Spanish bank, and we had an official document from a Spanish bank, but some of it was passive. Some of it was sat in edit, but it didn't meet the requirements, so we needed to use a smart currency statement, and we had that translated. And we always warn the clients, look, if they don't accept it, I'm afraid you're going to have to move your funds into a Spanish bank where we can get a stamped and signed statement. But they did. So this is positive. They seem to be here in Malaga. Other provinces, not so much, but in Malaga, they really seem to be up in their game with accepting more modern online documentation. So, hey, that's great news. And that's came in this week as well. So we're going to move on to stage 2 and get the Tom of the way, get the new TIE card. Now, this was a strange one. Check this email out. This email here, new changes to the IVA, which is VAT, in the electric bill. I've only got this in Spanish, but I'm going to read it to you and translate it for you because it confused the life out of me. Well, we know what it means, but we don't know what it means. So, it says, hola Christopher, desde Endesa queremos informarte de las novedades regulatorias que afectan a tu contrato de luz. Te comentamos. Right, so te contamos, we will tell you. Basically, they're telling me something that's going to affect my electric bills. They say from the 1st of January 2024, desde el 1 de enero 2024, el IVA de luz se ha fijado en el 10%. So the VAT in electric has been fixed at 10% since the 1st of January 2024. This VAT reducida aplica en el año 2024 siempre y cuando el mercado mayorista está por encima del límite establecido por el gobierno. Okay, so this will always be in place when the market prices, basically, the mayorista is the market where the electric is sold to the people, is above a limit which is established by the government in the law 8/2023. The month of February, the market closed below this limit, so you'll be charged 21%. Oh, enough in it. So yeah, I'm going to look into that more. They said so. When you're going to get charged 21%, even though the limit's been set at 10%, but it depends on market forces. And if the market forces are below a certain price, you'll get charged 21%. All right, why can't we just have a fixed limit and keep the market how it is? Who cares about the market prices? I just care about a low. Not too sure. How do the market prices then affect VAT? So that's a bit crazy to me. But anyway, they say in definitive, the VAT in your factor of your electric bill will vary depending on the evolution of market prices through 2024. Okay, great. So none of us know month on month what VAT we're going to be paying on our electric bill. I don't know. Probably need to look into that a bit more, but it sounded a bit crazy to me. And for those of you living in Spain, Vendessa, I'm sure you got the same email. Right then, so let's move on to the next section, which is what have we been eating? Well, check this out. Now, this is called a fritura de pescado. And basically, it looks like a little bit like fish and chips, Spanish style, doesn't it? And basically, a fritura de pescado is a sharing dish. Well, unless you're really hungry, you can eat it yourself. That you can get on most beachside restaurants. And it's just a mixture of everything from whitefish to sardines to whitebait to calamari to prawns, langoustines, anything that they decide to put in that dish, which is shallow fried really quickly with a very light batter on it and then pulled out and stuck in a plate. And it's absolutely gorgeous. It's normally eaten with something called alioli, which is garlic mayonnaise. And if you just fancy something to pick at, and there's a family like four of us ate that just for midday lunch, it's a great plate just to have in the middle of the table and just to share. So always look out for a fritura de pescado if you're going to go and eat on the beach. It's absolutely amazing, relatively cheap. That plate was around 18 euros, and that a bit of bread and a house salad, and it fed us all. So there we go. Right, let's move on to the YouTube channel. So we're moving on to the comments on the YouTube channel. And what have we got going on here? Not that many. We had... There we go. Let me need to take that off. I would have replied, would have done this better before. Okay, so going from the top to the bottom in reverse order. With the weekly update number 11, we got a comment today actually. Great video and thanks for the mention. I'm 41 and ready to retire soon. Look at you. 45 and not getting anywhere near retired. Thanks guys, great channel, helpful discussion and information. It's appreciated. That came from our Scats live last Saturday. Yogi, hey Chris, recent news of the golden visa being abolished. How will this affect the non-lucrative visa applications? We haven't mentioned that, have we yet? So there's a lot of news about the golden visa being abolished. I'm holding off before I put out any information just to see how that progresses. Do we know how it's going to affect NLVs? I don't think it'll affect it that much. There wasn't that many golden visas going through, to be perfectly honest. And most people who want a golden visa do not want the constraints of an NLV. So let's see. We did a video about registering your NLVs in Spain and the update of the appointments, how difficult it is. And Kev jumped on there and thanked Jane for booking 3 of theirs. Kev hasn't got his visa yet, but hopefully he'll get it in quick. Definitely it's time to get it in and get to those appointments on the 27th, guys, in Murcia. A couple of thank yous. Here's one for you. George Waters, 7667. I've owned a holiday home in Spain for 18 years. I've yet to come across a British citizen with an NLV. Can you tell me how many British citizens got their NLV approximately and why the take-up is so few from the British? Not so few, George, to be honest with you, not in our experience. And I know that everybody works in our industry is extremely busy as well. Can't say how many British have taken it up, but I do know that the consulates have employed the services of the BLS offices to now handle the visa process. Not all NLVs, there's a lot of other types of visas going through, but they're certainly, if you haven't met anybody on NLV, then don't know how many people you're talking to, but there's plenty of people coming on NLV. Glenn Stanley, love the show, guys, but Chris, your microphone is awful. I'm a little deaf, honestly. It's no good. That's where he got his from. Yeah, I'm trying to improve on that. You still can probably hear my cat screaming in the back, but I've got the microphone on today. I'm going to buy some better microphones, lapel mics, and definitely have better mics for the live shows. So do apologise about that. Where are we? Hi, Chris. Do you know anything about cancelling my non-liberty visa? My NLV visa for renew in October. I decided not to continue into 4 and 5 years, 4 and 5. A long story. I want to cancel this June. What do you know about the process? You have to. There's not a fee to pay, I believe, but you have to communicate this with the subdelegation of the government and rescind your residency with a letter to them. We haven't done one. Actually, yeah, that's the honest truth. We haven't done one. Nobody's wanted to rescind. We do our due diligence of people. Luckily, we haven't had an emergency where someone has had to do that. And yeah, so we haven't done one yet, but it is to the sub-delegation of government where you apply for your renewal. They don't have a set form, so you'll have to send them digitally. You would have to send them notification in the form of a letter to let them know. I will do some more research into that though and actually ask them, see if we can get an answer from them. Can you tell me, here's one for 4 days, can you tell me the name of the form that proves you have registered your S1 and the INSS? I've sent the details of my S1 to them and they have come back and said I have to have visa, padron, etc. This is a very interesting comment here from 898 Kev, because Kev's obviously doing the NLV process himself. Well done, Kev. He sent me through his documents, and it is true. He got a response back saying that he needed to have his visa and his padron certificate to complete the registration. And this is the most ridiculous thing about the S1. I would definitely, and the NLV, I would definitely encourage you to watch my video that I did, the 2024 update. The reason being is, we do this for our clients, we pre-register the S1. We call it a pre-registration because we actually register it knowing that they're going to knock it back. But this gives us a document called a justificante, and that justificante allows us to give a document to the client, take it to the consulate, and the consulate can see they've submitted their documents. Before they get their visa and before they get their TIE card, now the Social Security normally send us the same letter that Kev has received saying that's not enough. And we know it's not enough because we can't get you enough until we've got the visa. So then what happens, that file may get closed, and when they come back, when the clients come to Spain, we then have to reopen the file, reapply, and get the S1 registered. It's a crazy practice, but that's how it's working for us at the moment. We manage it for our clients. Kev, well done for doing that yourself. And yeah, that's about it really. Lots of nice comments on our live show. Here's one from Paul Nipper. Spain has its faults, the same as any other country, but I would be naive to think it wouldn't. But that as our way, the benefits of living in this amazing place. Just to be aware, just need to be aware. So thank you for your effective family for bringing the incident to their attention. Yeah, that comes from the comments about the robbery last week. Warning. Okay then, so thanks for watching. That was update number 12. Next week, update number 13. And we've also got a couple more videos coming out this week. information videos, so check them out. If you like the channel, please subscribe, give us a like, and yeah, we'll see you on the next update.